Okay, so there's probably a lot of background noise going on right now because I'm running the air conditioner and the fan while I'm narrating. But so here I am. I am trying to figure out where I left off last time. And I think the last time I stopped and did this, I had, I think, gotten into sandwiching the poster board to a point. I just didn't remember where. So I'm untacking all of these pieces to see where they are. And as you can see, there's the 1/8, there's the 1/16, and then the poster board. It's super solid. I'm really happy with how solid these pieces are and yet how light they are because of the foam. So I figured out where I was. I needed to continue veneering with the 1/16 on the inside here. And that's where I'm going to go. And I don't think that the door is so crooked that it's like super noticeable, but yeah, I think it turned out good. So I actually stole these little clips from a live that I did yesterday, and I have a live that I did today where the work continues. But here I am. So this is the exterior of the wall. The interior is much smoother and in better condition. And so now I'm going to just start finishing up the 1/16 interior wood. So I'm cutting the ply with my little saw. And once again, I am the epitome of safety and precaution as I use this tiny table saw. Here you go. So now I'm actually cladding the interior corner here and making sure that there's a nice clean piece of wood there. And clamps are just not cutting it, so I think I'm going to just tape it with some masking tape. I don't have no idea where all my little clamps went. They disappeared. So here's another piece. Watch the fingers. How many of you are watching this just hoping that I'll chop a finger off? Well, if this thing gets tied up on 1/16 wood, it's not going to cut through bone. So it'll at least be messy, but it probably won't be a digit being cut off. But either way, here you go. I'm continuing to clad the interior and, the interior wall here. It says exterior, but that's the bump out. So there you go. I do have to straighten out a few lines, but hopefully the trim will hide all that stuff. So bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. I think this piece is done. So now we're cutting more. And that is going to be for my bump out entranceway, the veneer for the inside. There you go. My technical way of making precise measurements, as you can see. But I will make some hard lines with a ruler so that I have something to follow with the saw. And so I'm marking these off with a pencil. Alright, so I am reinforcing the lines, trying to get them as straight as possible, because this is the interior veneer and I want it to look nice. So I'm trying to do some fairly decent lines. I'm sorry, this was on a live, so I was a little bit distracted, and I wasn't paying attention to what could be seen on the camera all the time. So every once in a while, I'll kind of end up working off screen, and I tried to clip it down to pieces that were useful. So here I am cutting the window openings with the box knife. My razor knife. I got new blades. I found the blades because I had bought them, but they were missing for a while. But here you go. And as you can see, I'm working off the camera. I don't actually realize that I'm off the camera. I'm busy talking and paying attention to the discussion that's going on in the TikTok live. I do TikTok lives while I'm working. I did 2 in a row this week, which is really unusual for me. It takes a lot out of me. But a lot of interruptions and distractions and people asking about things and wanting to see things. So I edited a lot of stuff out of here. I mean, there's literally like an hour, 2 hours of footage that got cut down to about 45 minutes. And then I sped this up so that it comes down to 15 minutes. So here I am just getting the final cuts in so that they'll get through to the other side. Pop it out. I don't know why I'm pausing there. I must be talking. Blah, 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 blah. And pop it out. There you go. So, it's funny how I don't realize how much I'm accomplishing when I'm talking. Like, I'm doing this stuff and I'm making my measurements and, you know, and I don't even realize that I'm actually doing a lot and that I've actually, in this particular day, I got a lot done. And I'm also covering up some of that ugliness from my gable mistake. But that's in the interior, so. And the exterior will get covered up with the stone veneer once I get that made up. So, once again, lots of glue. You would not believe how solid these wall pieces are. It's very exciting to, you know, see each element come together. I mean, I'm not that far away from being able to put the shell together now as we work on, because I actually, in the next video, or the next live video, I don't know if I'll merge it with this one, I might, I actually get both of the face walls done too. So the only thing I didn't finish was actually sandwiching the last one. But getting these pieces right here all sandwiched is a good accomplishment as far as I'm concerned. So I was running out of clamps. I used to have like 30 or 40 of these little guys and they just disappeared. So it was kind of frustrating because they're holding some together on other pieces while they dry while I'm working on these, and I still need more of them. So I'm looking for scraps to fit this little gable here. And more of my precision work. Just draw it on with a pencil. There you go. And then cut it with the saw. And yeah, don't do as I do, as I said before. Don't use me as some sort of example of safety. I am taking my own risks. So don't copy me. Be careful, wear PPE, and do all those things. So here's the gable on this one. And voila. Get that glue out. I don't know why I like glue so much. I just love it. It's like it strengthens the pieces just as much as the wood does. I feel like it does anyway. And I am taping, making sure that things are pinned down and tacked down really well. And once again, I'm off camera because I'm busy talking, just like I am now, and I'm distracted. But, oh, I realized it. Now, these little inside pieces, I had a strip of wood that actually fit this perfectly, but I only had one, so I had to make other strips to match it. But for this one side, see, I'm stealing all the clamps. I have this little piece right here, and then this one, I'm making the same kind of strips out of the 1/16 to cover the inner edge of those little wall pieces. So boop, and I'm gonna clamp that in there. I'm gonna use one of the big ones, and that actually bends the wood. So that was, I don't know what that was about. And then cutting this piece, and that's the second one here. And I am going to glue all these into place. Bada bing. And voila. Making sure that they're nice and tacked down. There you go. So both sides are done, so now I can work on this one. And the top of this was really flimsy, and I broke one of these, but I can fix that easily enough. But I need to make this more solid and sort of strengthen it, and I'm going to try and do that by really reinforcing it when I do the inside veneer. So these two pieces are going to get covered up. I'm sitting here talking and whatever, but I don't even know idea what I'm explaining. And of course, glue. Lots of glue. Glue, glue, glue. And I definitely want to reinforce the sides as well because they're very thin and super flimsy. So I just want to make sure that they are... dog, get out of my face. Sorry, I have a dog that's harassing me. Tacking it down with some masking tape And now I'm going to do the bottom edge, and again, I'm working off the camera. It's kind of hard to tell. That's the problem with lives. And these two last videos are live, so I don't know how much of this I've not caught on camera. And cutting. Boom. That little saw is worth every dollar of the $50 it cost. And here's the bottom. I want to make sure that that looks nice. And then what I'm going to do is create some strips to lay down on top of the very narrow and thin little edges there to cover up the ugly sides and strengthen those whole pieces themselves. So this is going to be some dangerous cutting, of course, because it's very small. And I got to make sure I keep my fingers out of the way. So every once in a while, my little table saw will not start. But there you go. Beep. Yeah, I cut it close a little bit there. No recommendo. And clip. Getting the length was a little off here, so I just used my miter shears to cut the piece. Working off camera again. But as you can see, I'm just framing it all in, and I am using a lot of glue to make sure that this is super, super solid. And there you go. Now, the other side, got to cut another strip. If I had to cut all these with the X-Acto knife, I probably would be a lot further behind on this project than I am. Yeah, I really, it was a good investment. And putting the Dremel blade on it made it a lot easier to cut, and it doesn't destroy the wood like the blade that it comes with. All right, so one more strip on the top. And another one on the other side. And I'm going to glue those in. Now you see I'm covering up my whoopsie on the gable again for those two pieces, so nobody will know. So as I was going along, this lady kind of came in and was listening to me bitch about my clamps being missing, and she said, use quilting clips. And I'm like, oh my god, I actually happen to have a whole bucket of those. So I went over to my sewing table, and wow, like life-changing. And she just like did this drive-by recommendation. She's like, use clips, I gotta go. So there you go, clamp problem solved. And more of my precision drafting here. Pencil, 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 pencil. Trace, 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 trace. There you go. And I was worried about doing this piece. I thought it would be more cumbersome to do, but it's actually not so bad. All right. Whoop. I actually at least made a little bit of an effort here and put some straight lines in. Relatively straight lines. Those will all be fixed by Dremel and framing and trim. So, yeah. All right. Time to cut, I assume. And I need another sound effect. Let's do another sound effect. There you go. And now I'm doing the windows. And zip. Okay. And once again with the razor knife. This is a nice new blade though, so it's not as hard when it's actually cutting something. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. And so scrape off all the dust. You would not believe the amount of wood dust I've created over the last 2 days. It is crazy. It is all over my little house. I'm going to have to do a full clean pretty soon. And even my dollhouse is covered in a layer of wood dust. So look how clean and pretty that looks. Let's get that glued on. and flipped over. And with my quilting clips, thank you, lady, with your drive-by recommendation. Quite brilliant. Life-changing. One of them did explode, though, when I put it on there. It was a little too wide for it, and it popped and flew out into millions of pieces, but it doesn't matter. I have 1,000 more. And get that one there. Bing.